Welcome back to Angie's Table. Today we are making LA Galbi, and this is a special cut. So if you've ever tried Galbi, you know how great it is. I mean, it's savory, sweet, similar to bulgogi, but still different, and it's barbecued. Very, very good, but LA Galbi is a little different because of the cut of meat. So there's 3 bones on top, and it's like a strip of meat. This cut is called LA Galbi. I have no idea why. Maybe it was like imported from the States and from LA, so that's why they call it LA Galbi, but it's really good. So let's go and check out these ingredients. The very first step is 핏물 제거, and this means to remove blood from the meat. How you do this is just have it under water. You're gonna be doing this step for about an hour. Fill the bowl with water, and for about 4 times in that 1 hour span, you're gonna remove, add water, remove, add water. You'll realize that the color of the meat is gonna be less and less red as time goes on during this step. So we're gonna do that, and there's also a lot of bone fragments on the bone as well, as along with some excess fat. This channel, I make sure that my food is very, very clean and well prepped. So we're gonna go in and actually physically clean each piece of meat so that it is free of any grime and clear of blood and clean of bone fragments. First things first, I'm gonna grate my onions and pears, and this part is optional. So if you don't wanna go through this hassle of grating, just increase the brown sugar to a 3/4 cup. I would suggest that you guys do it, but if you guys don't want to, that's totally fine. Let's grate 1/4 of a pear and 1/4 of an onion. This is all going into the same marinade, so it's okay to just mix the grated pear and grated onions together. Just be careful when you get to the last tip of it so you don't hurt yourself. Now time for the marinade. Let's add in 1 cup of dark soy sauce, 2 cups of water, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of cooking wine, 1/4 cup of 물엿 or oligosaccharide, oligodan, any of that like syrupy type of sugar. 1/4 cup of garlic minced, 1/2 tablespoon of ginger minced, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 1/4 cup of pear, and 1/4 of an onion. Some black pepper to taste, and let's chop up 5 green onions. So now we're gonna put the galbi into the marinade and let it marinate for about, I think if it's 4 hours, it would be perfect. But if you only have like an hour or 2, that's fine too. You can go ahead and do that. So now we'll go refrigerate this. So while we're waiting for that to marinate, I sliced up some onions. When you go to Korean restaurants, they always have like a bed of onions on a small skillet. We don't have a small skillet, but they always have that and have the galbi on top. So that's what we're gonna do. So while this is cooking, do you guys know what it's time for? Today's word of the day is 강아지, which means puppy. And obviously we have Essie napping over there right now. She had the muddiest paws in the world today after her walk. That's like all I'm thinking about. She got mud all over the couch, all over the carpet. So I was always afraid of dogs until Grace got Essie. When we were younger, there was like the funniest story. We were in a park and there were these huge dogs, and obviously they weren't gonna like attack Grace, but they were so big and we weren't used to growing up with bigger dogs. Grace was crying her eyes out and my mom was sitting there laughing because she thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, she knew that the dog wasn't gonna attack Grace.
I'm pretty sure I blacked out because I don't remember that.
Yeah, my aunt, Christine's mom went after and stepped on the leash. The owner was just like not even looking.
She was like 7 months pregnant.
Pregnant with her, with Christine?
Yeah, and she was like chasing after.
It was so funny. I still remember. I didn't know how to help Grace either because I was also young, and it was just really funny. We still talk about it to this day. I mean, I did not think Grace would get a dog, and here she is with the dog. My parents were also scared of bigger dogs, but because of Essie, I think all of our fears kind of subsided.
Yeah.
We all grew to really love dogs, puppies, animals in general. So yes, today's word of the day is 강아지, which means puppy. An hour has passed, so we are gonna start cooking this. Actually, I think it tastes best if you cook it outside on a grill or over charcoal to get that smoke flavor going, but not everyone has a grill and it's not always 70 degrees outside. So I think the last resort is to cook it inside. It's actually easier in a frying pan on your stovetop, but it's if you're feeding a bigger amount of people, it's easier if you just stick it into the oven and kind of just forget about it instead of always having to look at it and flip it over. So we're gonna show you guys how to cook this on the stovetop and also in the oven. So the oven's at 350. I put half the batch in, and depending on how much you have, the cook time changes. So the more you have, more time it will take. And so I'm gonna actually put that in there at bake for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna flip it for another 5 minutes, and then just to give it a little bit of a crisp and char on top, I'm gonna put it at broil for 3 minutes. When you do this on the fry pan, it's almost like braising it because you're waiting for all of the sauce to just really go into the meat and cook that way.
It smells so good. Yeah,
It looks so
really
clean, right?
Yeah. The meat quality was really good.
We're basically gonna wait till all the sauce is gone. All right, I think we're pretty good now. Let's take this out into a platter. Let us eat now. I'm so excited. So this is the oven one.
Wow.
Good.
Really good. It's very tender.
Put some rice with this. I actually really like these around the bone part.
The marinade is so good, but I feel like the longer you marinate, I can see it a lot better. I can see why mom marinated for a long time.
Just for like a day or two. I think it would taste best if you marinate it for at least a day. But if you don't, you can keep it marinated in the fridge for about 3 days. And then I would say after that, you should probably package it and freeze it so that you can also have it, you know, throughout.
That's like succulent, right?
You want to try the
Stove one?
the stove?
Thank you. The meat itself is
Very good, yeah.
and very clean tasting.
Right on the stove, right?
It's juicier. It's more marinated.
Another tip, my mom really likes to marinate it with Coke. But for me, I don't like it because meat gets tender and all of that. But I feel like it's too soft. It tenders it too much. But then I feel like in Galbi, it shouldn't just like fall apart. Like I get it in galbi찜 because the cuts of meat are thicker, but this isn't that thick. I think there should be more of a chew to it.
I agree.
When we told our mom we were doing galbi, she told us to make sure to tell our subscribers that you can also add Coke in it. I don't think you have to do too much. I think if you really did want to add it, maybe adding like half a cup, a fourth to half a cup, just extra, just put that in there as like an extra, and you should be good. And let us know if you guys like that actually. But I hope you guys liked today's video and enjoyed today's recipe and make today's recipe. If you guys are ever making galbi, use this sauce. It's really good. and we'll see you guys on our next video.